We definitely give thanks. As always, we glorify the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie first. Oh, give thanks for your royal presence with us. A moment of comfort, a moment of intelligence. Give thanks continually for the ability to reach out. This is the Tiger's Nest. And of course, Niga save, give thanks, Honorable Priest Isaac, your humble servant in your presence this evening. And as always, bringing forth joy and happiness and enough information and inspiration. As I mentioned, the Tiger's Nest in your realms. Definitely say Asante Sana, Naya Bingi drum sound, cutting and clearing and moving all obstacles out of the way. And with joy and happiness, once again, we say Salamta, peace, joy, Rastafari love, itinerally, internationally, throughout the whole community. And again, reintroducing myself, your humble servant, Honorable Priest Isaac, here with you this evening. We definitely, as always, have a wonderful sit down, a wonderful program for you, the Tiger's Nest. And this will be a very special edition of the Tiger's Nest. This will be one of those programs that we will also be broadcasting this visually via the YouTube. So whatever we'll be speaking about tonight, you'll be able to see it in full living color, as the discussion should be very deep. Yes, wars and rumors of wars. That is what the world is observing right now. But there are certain aspects of the wars and the rumors of wars that many ones seem to either overlook or underlook. Now, maybe ones don't even know what I'm speaking about. So we're going to do it, I think, in the only way that we can do it, Tiger's Nest fashion, unraveling the mysteries. How about that? But for sure, Royal Family, we're going to be touching upon several things this evening. The solstice energy, the twin energy. I want to highlight the trooping of the colors. That was a military parade that took place on the 14th of June. You talking about for Donald Trump? No, that took place too. But I'm talking about in London. Some of us, that totally went over our heads. There was a military parade for the King of England on the 14th of June. Oh, what do you know? There was a military parade on the 14th of June for the President of the United States. Interesting. I thought you were going to say the King of the United States, but they referred to that day as No King's Day. Listen, don't sweep this stuff under the rug, you know. There's much more to unravel. You want to tell me King Charles has the same birthday as Donald Trump? And both of them, I'm talking about the two heads of states, England and America, Britain and America, red, white, and blue. Hold on, a military parade, not a birthday party, at least not a regular one. And at the same time, military actions taking place. What's going both? Sharing the same birthday. Remember, this is June, by the way. going into Gemini, the solstice, the twins. All right, family. So we have a lot to speak about this evening. As I said, we're going to be doing it in the way that it can only be done with the tiger's nest, the mystic vibration, the shock of the hour energy. But I want to highlight to you that this specific program is also a part of the fundraising initiative that we are conducting here at the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge as it relates to our mission to Ethiopia. Now, of course, we would have done several programs prior to this, going in detail for you, our audience, especially for you, those of you who are a part of our tribe, that is our well wishers, those who understand our work, and those who share the same vision and hope that our goals will be met. Yes, we would have done several programs that I'm sure many of you would have taken in, some of them hours long, maybe 1 or 2 an hour, and even programs 10, 15, 20 minutes, trying our best to capsulate the vision that we have, because it's a very big, large vision as such. You know, the goal is really immense, and that's just the goal for now. And I'm talking about the mission to Ethiopia, which is really centered around the African Union slash CARICOM summit. Let me take my time here so you can understand. It is centered around the African Union CARICOM summit scheduled for the 7th to 8th of September 2025. And at the same time, our mission is a business mission. It is a diplomatic mission. It is a fact finding slash research mission. And again, please listen, we would have prepared a proposal that I would have asked those of you who are interested in the mission that we are ready to perform, that you could email us, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com, and request the a copy of the proposal. Now I know some of you would have done that, and I'm very happy. But believe me, I know it's not all of you. Trust me, it's not all of you. So there are many of you who would not have even request to see the proposal. And the reason why I'm encouraging you, you see, this is a work that is coming from the heart space. I want you to feel my heart, not just hear my words and think that you understand what I'm thinking. This is from the heart chakra. You know, all the petals of light are glowing here with this mission. You comprehend. So it's something that I would honestly love you to comprehend, not just to hear me speak and to hear about it and wow, you're going to Ethiopia. No, no. I want you to get the nitty-gritty again of the vision and of the goal that we have as it relates to this mission. Now, again, within the proposal, what you have obviously the overview, the mission itself, and at the same time, we have the different levels of sponsorships that are available for our clients, really. I want you to comprehend this. There are several ways. Please listen to me, and we're going to go deeper into this as the program progresses. This is just an introduction, but at the same time, for those who this may be new to you, and believe me, this is just in a capsule. There are different means and ways that we would have provided for every one of you listening who understands the work to assist. So, in honesty, there is no one here that is on our side that shouldn't be a part of this mission, one way or the other. I'm telling you the truth. We have different levels of sponsorship, starting from the highest level, which is the budget for the mission, which is $118,000. That's a full sponsorship. Any one of you that is listening that can afford that can easily say, hey, priest, I'm going to be the full sponsor for your Ethiopian trip. Any one of you can do that. And it's not a trip because we don't intend to trip and fall, But at the same time, remember that we have it's reciprocal. What you give to us, we have the value for you in products and in services. So, in other words, if you're going to fully sponsor our budget of $118,000, I would assume you have a business somewhere, and more than likely you do. Remember, we are into the whole aspect of marketing and promotion. That's one of the reasons why we will be going to not only Ethiopia, but other countries, to conduct business, to do lectures and seminars. And of course, our magazines have been created as, if you want to say, as a serious hub for what we have to market and promote. So it's the same thing when you advertise with us, you have become a part of that hub. So that is why when you go through the proposal, you will see full sponsorship, diamond sponsorship, platinum and gold, and the different levels from $10,000 all the way up to $118,000. So you can fit yourself anywhere in between. 10,000, you get a next level of sponsorship, but remember, you'll be promoted. We create magazines for your businesses. We give you the different paraphernalia of your choice, whether it mugs, t-shirt, and of course, this will be displayed. Your business cards, your brochures, all of these things will be displayed at our lectures and the different seminars that we will have, depending on the type of sponsorship that you take. So you can see it's a give and take thing here. Then now, even if you do not take one of the sponsorship offers, you can simply advertise, in our magazines. In the next few days, we will be coming out with another edition of the Ambassador's Pen. Can you believe that? Another edition of the Ambassador's Pen is on its way to you. And for those of you who have never gone into the Ambassador's Pen, as I said, this episode is also in video form. So on YouTube, the link is in the description below the video. Just go below the video and you will see in the description of the video the links to the different magazines that we would have created. You press the link and the magazine will appear. You understand? And I'm showing you that the next edition of the Ambassador's Pen is coming out very soon. Remember, this is a part of the fundraising effort, this specific program. So you got a tiger with me so I can explain to you properly how you can add it to the mission, how you can be a part of it. So when you take one of our spots in our magazines, whether it's Kidemi or the Ambassador's Pen, you are assisting the mission as well. Plus, especially when you advertise in the upcoming Kidemi, I want you to understand this, you will be on the front line of our marketing and promotion when we are in Ethiopia. And that's specifically the upcoming edition of Kidemi. And then now there is the simple way of donating. There may be some of you who no business, no whatever. You can donate to the mission. Whether it's 1,000, whether it's 500, whether it's 100, or whether it's 50. There is an opportunity for each and every one who understands the value of this mission to be a part of the mission. And that is very important. And then, of course, Royal Family, what we will get into a bit more as we climax in this program, you can visit us. You can be with us on this mission to Ethiopia. It's more than an excursion, Remember, it's a fact-finding mission for us. It's a diplomatic mission for us. It's a business venture for us. But at the same time, you could join us for the exclusive tours. We have the tour in Addis Ababa plus the national tour, and we will be speaking a bit more about that as the program goes through. So, family, there's so many things to touch upon. As I said, we would have taken the time to express all of this in detail in previous programs. You can email us, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com, and we can send you the copy of the proposal. You can take your time and go through the proposal and see where you can fit in, but there's a fit for everyone, especially if you comprehend the importance of the mission. Now, even if you didn't understand the mission or you don't really get the point, but your brother is doing something and he's asking for your support, and he's giving you not just, well, you can donate here, but this is what I can give you back in value, with value, something credible. You understand? That's a part of the mission. But at the same time, we are showing to you the importance of the mission and how it definitely would contribute to the Pan-Africanism and the liberation and the redemption and all that stuff that most of us like to talk about. All right, royal family. So, honestly, that's just an introduction to that. As I said, the program that we have in store for you tonight, I know that many things are happening in the international realms, especially in the Middle East. And of course, these are things that, of course, would have been happening all the time. Remember from 1946, 40, and 7, when the Ashkenazi people, with the help of Britain and the US, would have invaded Palestine and created this apartheid-like state that they refer to as Israel, you know, obviously stealing the term from the Bible and at the same time stealing the identity. And that is why we always show to you that they are Israelis, not necessarily Israelites. Now, before we go thus far, again, as I began the program, I highlighted that on Saturday, the 14th of June, this is very important, family. On Saturday, the 14th of June, there were two specific military parades that took place, not necessarily simultaneously, because one took place under Greenwich Mean Time, and the other took place under Washington, D.C. Mean Time. Obviously, I created that phrase, but listen to me good. And they were not just military parades, they were held for the head of state in both zones. Can you imagine that? So the King of England had a military parade for himself. Wow. And the President of the US had a military parade for himself. Wow. Now, is he the King of America? Interestingly, that day was dubbed No King's Day. What's also interesting is that both kings, the president and the King of England, were celebrating their birthday on the same day, on the same day. This is quite interesting. You mean they were born on the same day? Well, no. One of them was born on November 14, but he moved his birthday up to align with the birthday of the other leader, the not king, the president. That's interesting. And both had a military parade around the same time. Is not real. The Israeli people attacked Iran, specifically killing several generals at the same time. Now, again, family, there are other mystics as it relates to astronomy, ancient astronomy, and even astrology, because it's the time of the twins, Gemini, the month of love, they call it, the time of the twins, you know. And if you were not born on the same day, but somehow you push yourself up to say, oh, it's my birthday too, it must be the time of the twins. and both of you have military parades. These are the two symbolically most powerful leaders on the planet. The head of Britain, don't take this for no joke. Don't tell me nothing about constitutional monarchy and ceremonial position. We know better than that. The head of Britain and the head of the US of A. And we know there's some other heads above that, but we understand the shadow world and we understand the material world. So let's just deal with what we see in front of us. I want to read something here for you. And this is coming from visitlondon.com. And it's speaking about the trooping the colors, and that is the event that took place in London on the 14th of June. And it says here, experience a traditional ceremony full of military pomp and pageantry with trooping the color on horse guards parade. Marking the sovereign's official birthday, this annual event features hundreds of officers, horses, and musicians from the household division in ceremonial uniform. The parade begins at Buckingham Palace and travels along the Mall to Horse Guards Parade. There, the monarch inspects the troops before leading the guards in a parade back to Buckingham Palace. Once at the palace, the monarch takes the salute and guns are fired in Green Park and at the Tower of London. You get that? And guns are also fired at the Tower of London. Very symbolic. All right. Finally, the monarch joins other members of the royal family on the Buckingham Palace balcony to watch the Royal Air Force fly past. What is trooping the colors? After existing in various forms since the 17th century, the Trooping the Colors ceremony has taken place every year in London to mark the sovereign's official birthday since the accession of King George IV in 1820, except during the World Wars and a national strike in 1955. Monarchs are traditionally given a second birthday if they were not born in the summer, in case the British weather is unsuitable for an outdoor event. Let's get this again. Monarchs are traditionally given a second birthday if they were not born in the summer, in case the British weather is unsuitable for an outdoor event. So in other words, this was the case here, as Mr. King Charles was born in November, and he decided that, well, we'll have to move my birthday up. The 14th of June was chosen. But again, it is just so interesting that it would have aligned with the birthday of Mr. Donald Trump. Let me just go through this for you. This is highlighting the US Army 225th anniversary parade. The 250th, pardon me, 250th. The 250th birthday of the US Army Grand Military Parade and Celebration, widely referred to as Trump's Military Parade, took place on June 14, 2025 in Arlington, Virginia and Washington, D.C., United States, to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the traditional date of the founding of the United States Army on June 14, 1775, the oldest of the six branches of the United States Armed Forces. Now, although, and let me just read this quickly, the parade celebrated veterans and active duty service members and coincided with the 79th birthday of Donald Trump, the 45th and 47th president of the United States of America. So all of this took place on the 14th of June. And this now, as I said, was in the United States of America. And before I go deeper, let me just read this information, which is coming from the Associated Press. And this says here now, this is the Associated Press. And this is the 18th of June, it is 2025. Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Israel launched blistering attacks on the heart of Iran's nuclear military structure Friday, deploying warplanes and drones previously smuggled into the country to assault key facilities and kill top generals and scientists. Where are we here? And yes, okay, fair enough. And that's the Associated Press, Friday. And so Friday was the 13th of June. And that was the day officially before the parades that I would have just mentioned. All right. So the reason why I went for these three articles, first of all, is to show how things would have so interestingly aligned. Things align. Just the other evening, I was looking at a picture of Mussolini, and I was saying to myself, oh, how Mussolini resembles Donald Trump, especially when Mussolini kind of push up his mouth and shaking his head and doing his thing. I said, that looks like Donald Trump without the hairpiece, And interestingly, we're talking about Donald Trump's birthday. Do you know he was born a year after? Just follow the science. He was born a year after Mussolini's demise. Remember, we are into the mystics. We unravel the mystics. In fact, that's what's happening here. That's why these fellas have the parade on the same day. And then they're sharing a birthday, just a few days after the military parade. It wasn't 7 days. King Charles and the royal family were partaking in the parade of the Knights of the Garter, which is really the climax of symbolism for these folks here. I wonder if you understand what I'm saying. You see, honestly, with no disrespect, if you just came on board, maybe you may be scratching your head. But for those of you who have been on the long ride here, you understand the depths of this, top students, people that are in the front of the class, ones that understand the breakdown of the true biblical land of Israel, ones that understand the heavens really declare the glory of the Most High, ones that understand even when we highlight Rastafari and Freemasonry. Remember the same King Charles was once Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, and he was the head of the Knights of the Garter. Now, he's still the head. He's the supreme head now as the monarch. But the Prince of Wales is actually the official head of the Knights of the Garter. And we all know when the Emperor Haile Selassie I visited that parade, as he was also installed within the Knights of the Garter. Haile Selassie, I am speaking of, ceremoniously and symbolically. Prince Charles at the time had to leave his position. I wonder if he remembers. I'm sure he does. He had to leave his position within the parade and give it to Haile Selassie, and he walked on the sideline. Remember, masonry and symbolism is deep with these fellas. They do a lot of things, blindfold themselves and stay outside and lock the door and hold the key, and everything has a meaning. Hmm? None of the participants on that day could have placed their hats on their head until Haile Selassie the first placed his hat on his head. And we would have highlighted these things in many different videos. You see how the king crushed the Pope when he visited the Vatican, and we took our time. I know many of you saw that video, and we took our time to show the strategic movements that were made symbolically in the ether, in the astral, and even in the material world. You know, masonically, it exists. Greater than Solomon is here. Remember the Masonic world and the Freemasonic world and the Illuminati world. They talk about King Solomon, the Grand Master, but greater than Solomon is here from the house of Solomon himself, Haile Selassie. Follow it good, eh? So I'm showing you now, I'm using all that to come back to just days after the grand parades. My point is, before I get to that, these parades were not just done for fun. Everything is not just symbolic. It's not just a message that is being sent. There are things that align with the heavens. Again, this is the month of June. This is not just considered the month of the twins, it is. Eh? This is when the sun is entering into Gemini. It's a power time. It is a power time. The summer solstice. The sun is in between the twins. Now, the thing is, the twins is a man and a woman. But you don't know how the world have Gemini as two men. So if you and another fella was born on the same day, you know, it's the energy of not just brotherhood, but the twin energy is being expressed there on the 14th of June. The 14th of June is not the King of England's birthday. It's the 14th of November. But he moved it up to align it with the President of the United States. I know they didn't say all of this on the headline news, but this is the headline news here. And they both. Now remember, this is not France and Italy. This is not Australia and Brazil. This is Britain and America. Let me repeat. This is not Canada and Russia. This is not even China and Yugoslavia. This is Britain and America. Both countries, the head of the countries, they didn't just have a military parade at the same time. It was for the head of the country, and it was for their birthday. And one of them, it wasn't even his birthday. What's going on here? And at the same time, the Israeli government dropping bombs on the Iranian government. Can't we see? This ain't about to turn back, you know, my people. Talk about the stuff hitting the fan. I mean, there's so much in the fan now, the fan stopped work. And then now at the same time, keep in mind, as I said, the Gemini energy moving towards the solstice. And right now, the war obviously would have kicked off. And don't forget what I said, since we're speaking about birthdays. I saw this may be even off the record as such, if you want to say. This is not factual, but to me, Mr. Trump have a serious resemblance to Mr. Mussolini, I must say. You just put on the hair and you may be surprised the character that you get. So, you know, the Bible talk about who can make war with the beast. And obviously, you know, television has a lot to do with this. And if you follow the other details around this, you know, they had a G7 summit. Mr. Trump left the G7 summit quite early and left the other leaders there trying to fiddle their way out of this. They ain't got nothing to do with this. At least that's not the way it appears from the television. Now it seems like everything taking place here is a one fella decision. This is serious, my royal family. You must understand we are all on the ball here, the blue marble as they call it. You understand? And no matter how distant a country may be away from where you are, this sort of radical action that is taking place on the globe will affect the rest of the globe, whether it's economically, whether it's trade, whether it's the price of oil, which is really the price of everything else, or whether it's real bombs and what you call it from these the results of the weapons that are used. They don't have to be atomic weapons. They don't have to be nuclear weapons. Weapons in general. These bombs that they are busting all over the world will affect populations and generations to come. Poison water and poison the air. That is what's taking place, royal family. Hmm? But for those of you who have deeper insight, take your time to penetrate the symbolic gesture, the symbolic vibration that has been purposely played out in front of us. It's the moment and the time of war. In the same way that Mr. Trump may appears if, yeah, man, I'm not with Israel, but he right there. Don't mind the King of England too. What you talking about? It's all red, white, and blue. Everybody there. One attack, all of them attack. Remember when Italy attacked Haile Selassie? We all know that France and Britain was with Mussolini and the rest of Europe as well until it all broke down. So let's not be fooled. Let's understand international diplomacy. It is very important. Now, you see, royal family, as I said, as it relates to our mission in Ethiopia, there are many different aspects. I'm going to get back to the war that is taking place in Iran in a moment, because I know they have some new developments. But I want you to be clear here that those who may not see it within themselves to, let's say, take one of the sponsorship packages or even make the donation. And remember, you can make the donation using PayPal, you can use the Cash App, you can use Zelle, you can still Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. And keep in mind, you can also advertise with us. But there's another important aspect of this mission to Ethiopia as it relates to those who will be coming with us. And coming with us is not necessarily coming with us, but if you jump on the plane with us, and hey, that will be nice. But you see, we will be on a fact-finding mission. But at the same time, there's a window open for those who will be joining us for our tours. Now, I must say the Honorable Empress Naya is much more versed as it relates to this. So I'm going to ask the Honorable Queen to give us a better understanding of what will be taking place for those who want to join us for the tours. Honorable Empress Naya, Imani, love, love, love. Give thanks.
Thanks for showing me this opportunity. Just contact us via email. The information that we have is available via email. There's 2 travel packages. Well, let me explain before just jumping into this to that information. The tours is open for people to join the Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge. There are 2 tours that are open, and it's to visit Ethiopia. There is a summit tour, and that package is available for three days, and really spent in Addis Ababa. Then we have a multi-day tour that would be um, uh, before the summit, so it leads to the summit, and that festives in terms of those days, we can share more information about that in the email. So you all know that this is the second year, and we are doing our best that we can in terms of making sure that we continue to cultivate and refine the institute, because the institute is a living academy. The institute academy has to be present and active with what's happening in the world. And if that isn't available to you all, then it can really lead maybe into, a kind of level of I would say inactiveness. So as we are an institute, we have developed some programs to get us to visit the African Union CARICOM. Now, keep in mind there are some security concerns. There are security concerns because not just looking at the Middle East, but the geopolitics that is happening is that there has been a lot of migration waves, migration in the form of investors that are non-African outsiders, investors that are African as well, investors that are from where the Caribbean, maybe not. I'm not sure if the Caribbean is actively, strongly engaged, but we can say that specifically the United States and the Caribbean, North America is engaged in Africa, but due to the war, the geopolitics changes. It's actually going to be something where, as Priest Isaac was sharing, it will be felt. So it puts a lot of pressure on at hand as it relates to making sure that we have um, as it relates to making sure that we have all our details figured out. We are confirmed that it's going to be like a good program, a great atmosphere. In fact, after this summit there will be a Africa climate summit, Africa climate summit that will be happening, which will be for those who want to extend their stay. You can also ask, like, if you wanted to just skip out with the trips, not the multi tour days. If you wanted to skip out with that and you wanted to do just the summit only, and then stay a little extra days in Africa, we have that option too. So the main target is the African Union CARICOM Summit. And then those days are from September 6th to September 7th to September 8th is the last day. In fact, September 8th is the checkout day. But there is a extended summit that will be taking place. So if you want to stay additional days, we can help you with that detail, because we've actually are making reservations as we speak. So you can share this information if you want to come. It is a trip that you would have, not a trip, I don't want to say a trip, but you all, honestly, this is an actual a short trip, a short visitation to Ethiopia. We will be greeted with the welcoming staff and representatives, and we just got to just come there to actually learn. And details as it relates to this organization sponsoring tourism packages for the African Union CARICOM Second Summit can be given more to you at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, and that we will actually be able to help you from there. So I am sorry to just jump off, but I'm going to pass this mic here to Priest Isaac, and give thanks for listening. I will be looking out for your correspondences. Honorable.
Yes, honorable.
Bless a
And
lot of things.
give thanks. And let me ask, I know you have, a lot has gone into the preparation for these tours, and even for sure the different correspondence that I know the Honorable Empress would have made in Ethiopia. And so even the tours that you will be coming, those who will be coming with us, just keep in mind that we're talking about professional tours and as she mentioned, top security. So that is something that, would even put anyone's heart at ease, even as it relates to such. And although prices are not being mentioned here, but again, you could definitely get your proposal. You could look at the proposal and get much more information. As the Empress said, you could also reach out and converse with us. Obviously, you can come in groups of 5, groups of 9, groups of 10. All of that's available, Honorable.
Absolutely.
Different groups and so.
Absolutely. You can get information in terms of groups. If you want to get a discount or a reduction rate, and you want to come with a group of at least 5 people. I think at least 5 people, we can speak with you. I think you can certainly say if you get to a good 7 people at minimally, we can give you a stronger, I guess, reduction. If you already know that certain ages you would have to pay when it comes to this. Actually, I didn't express that, but yeah, we're looking at ages less than 13. Anything less than 13 is you surely do not have to pay for them. So they will be just free. And if we have to add a meal plan just differently for the youths who are not like infant or toddler, we can do that. So anyway, those details can be explained.
Indeed, yes, yes. So you see, family. So obviously there's more details there that we need to touch. And let me just ask Honorable Empress. So in the national tour, where are the different spots that we intend to hit?
All right, so I think that it's considered northern Ethiopia.
Okay.
All right, so because I myself am becoming familiar with it, but we have we're starting at Addis Ababa, so that it will take place from Addis Ababa, from my awareness, and then we will take the flight to different spots. I think we're going to
How did that?
but yeah, I think we're also going to some other places, like to see where like on Lake Tana.
Yes, yes.
I think there's going to be an eco resort, a new eco resort that's there. I think it's called Wachali or something like that, or Wachali
Yes, yes.
eco resort. That is a part of the tour. And then we have different heritage sites from Lalibela, and even in Gondor, where you would see heritage sites there. Simeon, Simeon Mountains, I believe. There will be some sightseeing there. Um, I don't speak Amharic, and I am just gonna have to refresh myself. But those are probably the main places where we will be. Accommodations are gonna be 4-star greater, so it's gonna be really nice. Very, very great. I mean, let's be honest, the tour is going to be a very nice luxury tour.
Very much so.
So the tour will have very nicely detailed and defined
Yes,
information.
yes. Always.
They're professionals. It's actually being organized by professionals, Ethiopians themselves. So we will probably be able to connect with them and see more, how they facilitate themselves in their tour. We'll be able to observe them, and we will actually also be able to take in a lot of the culture. I think most times now we can see that the relations between Africa and us will pretty much be um, welcoming us home. That's how this experience is supposed to be. They're going to like welcome us home. It's a very interesting time because originally when this started, according to Priest Isaac, he was sharing with me that when this has started, this was during the pandemic. So the first year was during the actual global pandemic.
Mm.
And now the second time around, it's like it's not the pandemic. It's just it's not stopping up. It's like another type of economical, um, you know, factor pending on us again. Something that is promoting this kind of same response we had when the pandemic was happening.
And she's speaking of the African Union CARICOM conference. So first one was online, and because of, as said, the pandemic, and this is the second one, which would be in person.
Yeah, that's correct. Under such considerations, number of considerable things that's happening still in the global politics.
Mm-hmm. And of course, all the great things that are happening in Ethiopia for sure. I mean, that is one of the things that I'm looking forward to express and to, share with all those who will be with us. I don't think that there's any African country at the moment that is expanding on the rate of Ethiopia. And that's the truth. I'm not here to be religious or too passionate with anyone. I know some ones are very passionate now, but we got to be realistic. If you study your geopolitics properly, Ethiopia is definitely expanding on the economic level, on the infrastructure level, and for sure, it is just following the prophecy, to be honest, of what should be taking place. Remember, King Emmanuel already teach us that Ethiopia is the crown head. You understand? Like, for example, Ghana is the gateway, but Ethiopia is the crown head. And, it is time for those of us, all the Meneliks and the Rasmokhenans, to get on the battlefield now. It's not the time to run off the battlefield. Now it's time to get on the battlefield. As you could see, the other generals are showing you their pomp and the artillery power and making you understand that they're ready for war. So we also got to get ourselves in order right now. It's obvious. That's the point. We got to see the reality of this. This is not just a time for us to be going on vacation and on trips. This is really a time for decisive actions. Not because we don't have tanks, guns, we don't even have a proper nation, but that don't mean we're gonna sleep and just watch the world blow up. No, well, okay. We have been given the responsibility. I can speak for myself. We've been given responsibility from the Most High to get the job done. And personally, I know what avenues I'm supposed to go through to get the job done. Someone's maybe education, someone's maybe health, someone's maybe theology, someone aspects of getting the work done, maybe public assistance, whatever. You have to know who you are. You have to know the tools you've been given. You have to know your talent, and your abilities and the authority given to you by the Most High, and then act on it. I mean, I've been studying that for a while. I can't go back to go study that again. I already know who I am. I already know my tools. I mean, I know everything, but I know enough to start to work and make decisive plans and actions towards my goals and targets. So all of that is what you see taking place here. So we definitely give thanks. The Honorable Empress would have definitely shared some good information for you. Goddess, as it relates to even contribution and the different avenues. I say it all the time, but you want to kind of reiterate it for me and how people can send their money and contribute for those who may not want a what do you call it, a program of sponsorship program, or may not want to advertise in the magazine, or may not want to come to Ethiopia, but they want to send us a $200 to the mission or $500 to the mission. You can give us just a little more detail as it relates to that.
Cash App us. You can Cash App us. You can pay us with well, we still do use PayPal. PayPal and Cash App are the two main ways. I know that the Honorable Priest Isaac pretty much mentions the payment methods in the way that he does often. So just email us to get that, and we can certainly facilitate the help. Because the Priest Isaac Institute does need some support and assistance. So, the administratively wise, this is something that can be done, as it's not a problem. And just email priestisaacInstitute@gmail.com.
Royal family, because you see, family, as I said, we're supposed to be a team, we're supposed to be a tribe. And that is why we would have created the different avenues. So everyone listening here should be on board. Yeah, I mean, unless you hate me, you understand, which I don't mind. I don't expect everybody to love me unless you are a spy. I know some people here are spies, Spies listen, traitors listen, but it can't be the majority. If the majority of you are spies, oh man, well, no, it's best I stop this and go and do something else. Why should I be just entertaining spies? No, I don't think so. I believe the majority of people that listen to us understands the value of the work. I'm not an entertainer. I didn't come to entertain. I don't know who else is entertaining and trying to make you feel they're doing something good. But this is the mission of the Black Christ that we are on here. And that is why we share it with those who are with us, as we understand that this is Pan-Africanism. This is to benefit us all. That's why I'm asking you to email us and get the proposal so you could read it like a little book and you could say, okay, I get it. I see. That's why if you don't want to read, I'm telling you, well, a few videos prior to this one, we gave you some good details as it relates to why the mission is so important. You can go and watch that and walk around the house and clean and just listen, and then you'll get the information properly. This is the point. So you could see that this is a mission that that is quite quite necessary and important. And that is why we are putting it to the family in the way of a family, in the way of a team, in the way of a tribe. And that is why if you cannot $118,000 for the full sponsorship, although you'll be getting back the value. All right. Well, you can do a $10,000. I think that's the goal sponsorship. If you can't reach that, all right, fair enough. You can advertise in the magazine. You can get a $3,000 ad. You can get a $1,000 ad. You can get different ads within the different magazines. You don't want none of that? Well, you can donate a $500. How that sound? You can donate $2,000. How that sound? You ain't getting nothing back because you don't seem to want anything. You understand? All that money, okay, you can donate $50. And as I said, I'm saying all of this, balancing the value of what we have to do in the mission that we are putting forward to our people. You see, royal family, again, This is not just giving you the news and the headlines. If you notice what we did here tonight, we actually highlighted something that, well, I haven't heard anyone highlight it. I'm not saying no one did, but we highlighted to you the events leading up to the current activities in the Middle East. And we clearly showed you from the symbolic gestures of the twin. Don't forget what we said now. And the time of Gemini and the summer power solstice. Summer solstice is power. Don't forget what I'm saying now. I'm talking about 7 days before the summer solstice. The 7 is power. Don't forget what I'm saying. These fellas made themselves twins. All of a sudden, they share the same birthday and having the same military parade. Don't forget what I'm saying. At the same time, the other one, I guess, is triplets, bombing the life out of the people of Iran. And that's another thing. They hit anything that moves. Don't mind them. Talking about they kill general. They don't just kill general. They kill general, their mommy, their daddy, their babies, the man that washing the car, their neighbor, the man down the road. They kill anything that's in their way and make it look as if. And that's another thing. The news, the Fox and the Wolves and the ABC and the XYZs, all the lies, that they're emanating. Those who tell you the truth, they ban them. So you got to go underground to find them so they can tell you who's really being murdered and who's really being killed. You understand? That's the reality of the world that we live in. Fellas that tell you we make the news, don't deny them when they tell you we make the news. You must keep in mind, this is not like we live in the solar system and you're on Jupiter and I'm on Mars. This is the planet Earth. You can go around the planet in a day and a half, maybe a day, nonstop. It's not as big as you think, but it's big. But the repercussions, as the Empress just mentioned, especially on the social, geopolitical level, and trade and business and commerce, it is swift and decisive when time comes for action. In other words, some of these little Caribbean islands can't even survive 2 weeks if something go wrong on the high seas. That alone. Family, give thanks. Looking forward for all of those who will be connecting us on the Ethiopian mission. Give thanks for those who understand the value of such. Give thanks for those who will be also contributing. Give thanks for those who will be advertising. Of course, Royal Family, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible definitely will become a mystery. And of course, it takes some real eyes to realize the real lies that are amongst us. Give thanks, Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah,
Rastafari.
Rastafari. Thanks and praises and all doings the same. Blessed Lord.